How does a military warship maneuvering in the Middle East make your rent and grocery bills go up? The answer starts with a geopolitical directive. Donald Trump has ordered the U.S. Navy to move in and block the Strait of Hormuz, the most critical maritime choke point on the planet. Iran's response has been immediate. They are warning of retaliation, threatening to expand the conflict and shut down the Red Sea entirely. While Washington and Tehran trade threats, India is the country steering straight down the barrel of this standoff. The instability in Hormuz creates an immediate financial threat to the millions of Indians who rely on stable prices to manage their daily expenses. This satellite view shows the Strait of Hormuz, the narrowest point of the Persian Gulf. You can see why it's so vulnerable. Up to 25% of the world's entire oil supply must squeeze through this exact stretch to reach the global market. India is uniquely dependent on this route. Indian tankers rely on this passage to keep the country's energy grid running, and those vessels are already seeing significant delays. The supply chain faces a dual threat. Commercial ships must navigate U.S. naval forces stopping vessels, while anticipating the danger of sea mines. India's domestic energy security is tied to a stretch of water it cannot control, and right now, that fragile supply line is rapidly fracturing. The threat of a supply drop sent crude oil prices surging past $80 a barrel, triggering global panic. But when ships must wait or detour, the cost of freight and insurance rises alongside the fuel itself. Initially, the Indian government and state-owned oil companies absorb this shock. They take on the financial losses to keep the market stable for a few weeks. But that buffer is temporary. Eventually, the cost must be passed down. These macroeconomic losses hit the Indian consumer directly at the fuel pump. By disrupting this supply line, the blockade creates a direct, upward pressure on the price of basic goods across India. This data is already reflected in ground-level unrest. Recently, thousands of factory workers in Noida held large-scale protests, shutting down streets and manufacturing hubs. These laborers are working from a very narrow baseline. Most take home a monthly income of roughly 10,000 to 13,000 rupees. When fuel prices rise, transport and food costs follow. The portion of their salary spent on rent, cooking gas, and basic nutrition expands until there is nothing left for savings or school fees. These strikes are the result of an impossible cost of living, finally pushing the working class to a breaking point. There is a second threat to Indian livelihoods. Over 10 million Indians work in the Gulf. A full-scale conflict puts their jobs at risk and threatens the vital remittance money they send back to their families. The Middle East conflict creates a simultaneous economic pressure for India's working class, rising domestic costs, threats to overseas jobs, and the loss of vital remittance. While leaders in Washington and Tehran engage in a high-stakes standoff, the immediate collateral damage is felt in the kitchen of an Indian laborer. This creates a massive challenge for the Indian government. They must navigate a complex foreign policy crisis while simultaneously managing rising domestic unrest. Imported inflation acts as a silent tax. It bypasses the legislature and always punishes the most vulnerable working-class citizens first. We want to hear from you. Have you noticed the prices of fuel or basic groceries changing in your neighborhood? Let us know in the comments. To understand the global forces that affect your financial reality, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel.